Who told you this was public property? She sneered at me from behind those designer sunglasses standing right there at my own ranch gate, and I swear my blood just boiled right then and there. Imagine someone rolling through your driveway day after day like you're the one trespassing, tossing around all these big words about compliance and accessibility while you're standing there in your own front yard, coffee in hand, wondering if you've actually lost your damn mind. It wasn't just annoying anymore. It started to feel deliberate, like she wanted me rattled, cornered, maybe hoping I'd blow up so she could play the victim card. You know what I mean? Now, I knew something was off with the way she carried herself, but I really had no idea how far these people would go. The first sign was the motion sensor beeped at 5:37 a.m. Still pitch blackout, which meant someone was already coming up my ranch gate before the sun was even thinking about rising. I grabbed my coffee, peeked out the kitchen window, expecting maybe a lost delivery truck or Rick checking his fence line early, but nope. I watched an SUV just cruise straight through my property entrance like the driver owned the place. No slowing down, no little wave, just rolling gravel under those fancy tires, and the casual assumption that my land was suddenly community property. So I stepped outside into the kind of November cold that stings your nose breath and coffee steam mixing while I watched this car head down my dirt road, winding past the hay barn, straight toward the back pasture where my cattle guard hits the county road. And I thought, no way is this someone lost or confused. Only locals would even try this in the dark, and only someone with an agenda would drive that route with such confidence. I'd had my steel gate latch bending for days, welding scars and little tool marks all over it, 14 scratches I counted from delivery vans, neighbors, even emergency crews, folks who usually respect boundaries out here. But the SUV never even slowed down. That afternoon, while I'm out replacing a fence post by the cattle guard, I hear that same engine. This time the SUV pulls right up to where I'm working. Window rolls down and I see her middle-aged, expensive sunglasses that practice smile people wear when they're used to getting their way. "Good afternoon," she says, checking a tablet all business. "I'm Denise from the HOA Traffic and Landscape Committee. We're documenting observed traffic patterns for our Green Corridor Accessibility Initiative." I set my post hole digger down and just stared at her for a second. "Accessibility initiative on my private ranch." She taps her tablet again, visibly impatient. "This thoroughfare has been established community access for years. We're simply formalizing the Green Corridor designation to comply with county transportation standards. Really, Denise, my ranch gate is a public road now." She flashes the tablet and it's got what looks like county maps, survey markers, colored arrows, the whole dog and pony show. "Observed use patterns indicate regular community thoroughfare status," she says. "We're working with county planning to ensure accessibility compliance for emergency services and environmental corridor preservation." I look closer. The paperwork's just a bunch of sketches, not official county documents. So I ask for her ID and some real authority. She pulls out an HOA badge and a business card for some Green Corridor environmental planning outfit. "If you obstruct established community thoroughfare access," she warns, "we'll need to issue compliance notices and potentially involve county enforcement." Smooth delivery, you could tell she'd rehearsed it 100 times. But I just smiled, pulled out my phone and said, "Maybe we should verify your authority with the county directly." She hesitated. Just a flicker, then snapped right back to professional mode. "That won't be necessary. These are standard accessibility improvements mandated by state environmental regulations." And with that, she started her engine, said they'd be back for monitoring, and rolled out. After she left, I spotted something odd at the gate, the hinge battered, hanging, twisted, splintered wood scattered on the gravel. And in the camera feed, I caught her SUV with a license plate that looked barely attached, numbers half peeled off, like someone didn't want to be identified. It was too coordinated to be random. Now, I nearly left the gates unlocked, but instead I spent that afternoon building a reinforced wooden barricade across both gates. Nothing dangerous, just heavy timber angled to jam any SUV dumb enough to force its way through. Let's see how they like established community access now. The next morning, sure enough, her SUV hits the barricade at speed. You ever hear steel grind against timber? The sound echoes. Her front bumper crumples in tires squealing, and the whole car shudders but doesn't move an inch. A little puff of smoke hisses from under the hood, not fire, just the engine choking on its own arrogance. I watched her sunglasses fly off as she smacked the steering wheel, yelling into her phone, flapping around like the barricade was some kind of crime. I stood there sipping my coffee, recording every meltdown moment. By sunset, Rick rolled up on his ATV, spotted the mess, and asked what happened. I explained the trespassing Denise's thoroughfare claims, and Rick just nodded. He'd gotten one of her letters, too, something about a green corridor project needing 90 days of community use documentation to unlock grant funding. The letterhead was HOA, not county. She's probably trying to build a case for eminent domain, or an easement, Rick muttered. And that's when it clicked. Generate fake evidence claim established access, then muscle through a legal land grab. That night, reviewing motion sensor logs, I saw her SUV and an unmarked trailer passing within 3 minutes. Not a coincidence, this was stage coordinated. And why use unmarked vehicles for official traffic studies unless you're hiding something? My family's been on this ranch for 18 years, clean title taxes, paid no right-of-way issues. If Denise wanted legitimate access, she could have knocked on my door. But the way she strutted around flashing fake authority, it was something darker. So I doubled down, more cameras, more documentation, everything recorded. Next morning, I'm waiting at the county office with a folder of evidence. Ellen Martinez at the desk has seen 1,000 boundary disputes. I told her my story, handed over my deed, and asked about these official studies. She went through county records and flat out said HOA committees can't designate public thoroughfares on private property. That requires formal county approval and eminent domain. No such applications, no such studies, no hearings scheduled. The maps on her screen showed my boundaries were ironclad. Meanwhile, Rick got another HOA letter. Now they were demanding financial disclosure, environmental paperwork, but still nothing official from the county. Ellen pointed out by law you need 20 years of proven continuous public use before any prescription easement could be considered. And even then, only the county has the authority, not some HOA committee. Rick called a meeting at the community center. Turns out there were 5 of us getting the same pressure. All the letters, all the threats, all the unauthorized monitoring equipment showing up on our properties installed without permission. We compared paperwork. Someone had even researched Denise's green corridor environmental planning and found it didn't exist. No business registration, no licenses, nothing, just smoke and mirrors. We realized every targeted property bordered new residential development under the HOA's thumb. This wasn't about green spaces, it was about connecting their subdivisions by cutting right through our land, then cashing in on the grant money. We pooled resources, called a property rights attorney, started compiling evidence. Over the next week, my cameras caught Denise and her crew coordinating with a landscaping company called Greenscape Services. These folks specialize in municipal planning and, wouldn't you know it, covert surveillance. GPS trackers started popping up under our cattle guards, real pro-level stuff relaying data back to who knows where. 7 vehicles each with precise routes and timing staged like a military operation. This wasn't random, it was organized fraud. Tom Bradley, the county fire marshal, showed up for an official emergency vehicle access assessment, something Denise kept claiming justified their actions. He measured everything, checked turn radiuses, and laughed. "Your gates exceed county standards," he told me. HOA claims about emergency access are bogus. And when Denise's crew showed up waving fire department letters, Tom saw right through them. Fake documents, forged, county seals, criminal fraud, the whole 9 yards. By now, word had spread. The next community meeting, we had 17 property owners, county officials, even the county attorney's office in the room. All the evidence laid out: forged letters, unauthorized surveillance, fraudulent grant applications, systematic trespassing. And just like that, the spell broke. Denise's lawyer tried to clarify misunderstandings, but the county and fire marshal systematically debunked every claim. Turns out Greenscape Services had been investigated in 3 counties for identical scams, manufacturing evidence for grant money, strong-arming property owners, and running professional fraud operations. With federal investigators now involved, bank records were subpoenaed, business licenses revoked, and the committee was hit with criminal charges. Every asset seized, restitution paid to victims, and Denise barred for life from HOA leadership. Greenscape Services got their licenses yanked across 3 counties and federal charges to boot. Standing at my gate that last afternoon, fresh coffee in hand, I read the new official sign. Private Agricultural Access County, verified emergency standards exceeded. No more fake authority, no more staged SUVs or sneering committee heads. Now every bit of traffic on my land is authorized and documented. And you know what? Rick was right. Organized crime only works if people stay silent. Unity, evidence, and a little stubbornness shut them down for good. So let me ask you, where do you draw the line between community and control? Drop a comment if you've ever had to fight for your land, or if you think HOAs ever really help. Make sure you subscribe and ring the bell, because around here the next story is always crazier than the last.